Welcome to Premier League Game Week 5 recap. Let's get into it. Crystal Palace played Brentford and what ended up being a 1-1 draw. Zaha made his return to the team this match after missing the game versus City through injury and continued like he never left, scoring his 4th goal of the season to put Palace in front with half an hour left on the clock. However, his efforts weren't able to secure the 3 points for Palace as late into the second half, Wissa was substituted onto the pitch for Brentford, and just a few minutes later he scored in the 88th minute to equalise the game. Things could have become even worse for Palace when Ben Mee headed the ball goalwards in stoppage time, but fortunately for Patrick Vieira's side, the ball hit the crossbar and he managed to come out of this match with a point. But even though they got a point, it was still a frustrating result for them, and Zaha in particular understandably seemed very annoyed with the way in which his team lost the lead in his post-match interview. Fulham faced Brighton on 1-2-1. It was Mitrovic who opened the scoring in this match, getting his 100th goal for Fulham and his 5th of the season to give Fulham the lead. This 1-0 lead soon became a 2-0 lead when Brighton's captain Lewis Dunk redirected Andreas Pereira's cross into his own net, making a Brighton comeback even more unlikely. Brighton did get a goal back in the 60th minute when McAllister converted a penalty, and although they did try for a second to level the game, they just weren't able to score another and left with 0 points, ending their unbeaten streak. Southampton came up against Chelsea and defeated them 2-1 to get their 2nd win of the season and go above Chelsea in the table. Raheem Sterling got his 3rd goal in a Chelsea shirt to put them in front in the 23rd minute, but youngster Romeo Lavia, who also left Man City this summer, scored his 1st ever goal in his professional career to level the game for Southampton just 5 minutes after. Then right before half time, Southampton scored again, this time through Adam Armstrong, who scored his 1st Premier League goal since November 2021. This was a big result for Southampton. Chelsea definitely isn't the easiest of sides to beat, and defeating them should give their young squad a confidence boost, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this Southampton side gets on. The project going on in that club looks pretty promising, with them recruiting many talented young players, and if they continue to perform like how they did against Chelsea, they should be in for a good season. Leeds played Everton and drew 1-1. Anthony Gordon was the man who put Everton in front in the 17th minute, scoring for a 2nd successive game, showing exactly why Chelsea was strongly considering signing him this window. If he continues to score goals like he is now, then keeping him will prove to be a great move by Everton. However, despite Gordon's goal, Everton weren't able to come out of this match with the 3 points, with Luis Sinisterra scoring his 1st Premier League goal for Leeds after joining this summer from Feyenoord. Leeds will be glad to have rescued a point, but unfortunately their current top scorer Rodrigo dislocated his shoulder in this match, which is a big blow to Leeds. Arsenal were up against Aston Villa and won 2-1, making it 15 points out of 15 in the opening 5 games. It was Gabriel Jesus who broke the deadlock, slotting the ball past ex-Arsenal keeper Emi Martinez in the 30th minute. Arsenal had many chances before and after this, but just weren't clinical enough, and in the 74th minute, Douglas Luiz scored directly from a corner to equalise the game. Now there is an argument that Ramsdale was obstructed and that the goal shouldn't have stood, but credit to Luiz for scoring that. The XG of his goal literally rounded down to 0.00, which is mental. Arsenal immediately responded conceding, however, which seems to be a common occurrence with Arsenal this season, with Martinelli scoring just 3 minutes after to put Arsenal back in front and get their 5th win of the season. This result has made it so Arsenal have now had their best start to a Premier League campaign since 2004, whilst Aston Villa have now had their worst start to a Premier League campaign since 1997, with them losing 4 out of 5 for the opening games. Bournemouth faced Wolves and what ended up being a goalless draw. After being thrashed 9-0 by Liverpool last week and their manager Scott Parker being sacked, it didn't look like this game versus Wolves was going to turn out well for Bournemouth, but again a point considering the circumstances they're in is pretty decent. Wolves will be frustrated, however. They were the more dominant side in this game but just weren't able to score, and with Bournemouth being off the back of a heavy loss and having interim manager Gary O'Neill in charge, it was the perfect opportunity for them to get their 1st win of the season, but they just couldn't do it. Man City played Nottingham Forest and won 6-0. Haaland was once again the main man for City, scoring back-to-back hat-tricks with his 3 goals against Forest and the 3 against Palace a few days prior. This hat-trick has taken him to a tally of 9 goals after just 5 games, meaning he's 25% of the way to the Premier League goal record, which is ridiculous considering all these goals were scored in August. After Haaland's first half hat-trick, Cancelo made it 4-0 early on in the second half, and this was followed up by a brace by Man City's other new striker Alvarez on his full Premier League debut. Man City were the best team in England last year, and with these new additions up top, it'll be a real challenge for any club to take that title away from them. West Ham came up against Tottenham, who ended up as a 1-1 draw. Tottenham took the lead first, but this wasn't through one of their own players, it was through West Ham's new centre-back Kerr scoring an own goal, who tried to clear the ball so someone could tap it in, but failed to successfully do so. West Ham didn't let this goal affect them too much though, as they fought back for an equaliser and eventually got one through Souček in the 55th minute, who was assisted by Antonio in his 200th game for West Ham. Club record signing Lucas Paqueta came off the bench and onto the pitch soon after this to make his debut, despite not training with his new side yet, and although he didn't have too much time to make a huge impact on this game, he did seem promising during his short cameo. Liverpool faced Newcastle and won 2-1. Newcastle's new £60 million striker Alexander Isak, who many were unsure if he'd even play against Liverpool, scored on his debut to give Newcastle the lead going into half-time. However, Liverpool didn't let Newcastle keep this lead, as in the 61st minute, Firmino scored to level the game and get 6th goal contribution of the season. The scoreline remained this way for most of the game, and unlike this match was going to end as a 1-1 draw, but 8 minutes deep into stoppage time when only 5 minutes had originally been added, substitute Fabio Carvalho scored a last-gasp winner to bring all 3 points Liverpool's way. Finally, Leicester played Manchester United and lost 1-0. This result marks United's 1st successive Premier League win and has kept Leicester bottom of the table with just 1 point after 5 games. Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho combined to get United's goal, with Sancho slotting the ball into the back of the net after 23 minutes to put his team in front. United controlled the game from here, and although they weren't able to get a second, that didn't really matter as Leicester were unable to equalise and the 3 points went to United, sending them to 5th place in the table, and it's the first time United have won 3 in a row in all competitions since April 2021. won. Anyway, that is Premier League Game Week 5 recap. So if you made it this far, you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And while comment down your opinions on any matches that happen this game week. With that being said, have a good one, guys. See ya.